Hi, I'm Ron Vanderlinden. What you're going to see in this DVD are the drills and the techniques and the points of emphasis I use in coaching the Penn State linebackers in pass defense. The first segment is an agility drill I use that I think has a lot of carryover into defending the pass, and I just label it, as you could see, flipping the hips. And the players are going to open with the quarterback's shoulders. They're going to move their hips. They're going to ease out. They're not exploding out. My point of emphasis is get as deep as you have to, but no deeper than you have to for quarterback scrambles, for checkdowns coming up. So I want to ease out, and I found that works well where a linebacker whose pre-snap alignment is at 4 to 5 yards can ease out. He can take a blink at the receivers in his area and get as deep as he needs to, but not deeper than he has to. I start out spot dropping. And this first drop back, they're using cover 3 drops, 3 deep drops, where the linebackers you're looking at are hooked to curl. The boundary linebacker is a flat defender. I'm easing out, reading the quarterback's head and eyes, settling when the quarterback settles, and then breaking on the ball. You'll see the boundary linebacker in a cover 3 go flat initially. And the reason he does that is to stop a 3-step drop. If he drops at an angle to the numbers, he's going to be over the top of any kind of a 3-step. Here you're going to get a good illustration of the 3-step. He should, on that first one, if you run it back, read the split. The split of the receiver was outside the numbers, indicating that you're going to get a slant route. That was a kind of a tough one to read because he was outside the numbers and he just ran a hitch. And then he's inside the numbers, he's going to run an out, and you can see I can easily get to that 3-step. If it turns out to be a 5-step drop, then once I have gone flat approximately to the numbers and read that it's a 5-step, then I am going to just ease backwards and play the route, getting a pre-snap read from the split that the wide receiver runs, being it breaking in or breaking out. These are examples of linebackers just dropping in a 3-step drop, easing back, and then breaking on the football. You got a good look at our boundary backer going flat initially, and then number 18, number 43, easing back, opening up, ease, and then reading the quarterback and breaking in on the football. Even though this is a play action pass and which will come up later in drills, it's included because the linebackers kind of played it as a drop back, read the quarterback, and broke on the football, which really is what they should do. The middle linebacker who broke on that ball and intercepted it read it as a flood route when it went to trips. And quickly read the quarterback's intention to the field, went to the field, broke on the ball, and made a nice play. Same thing with the middle linebacker there. He opened to the field, read the QB's eyes and shoulders, and was able to break on the football. And we get into that discussion, do you spot drop or do you route read? I think you start spot dropping. Seeing the quarterback, reading his eyes and shoulder give you such a tremendous advantage and breaking on the football, which leads to interceptions. However, there is a point where you do need to read routes, and how detailed you get in that depends on your players and the team you're playing. In this particular situation, number 40 is getting a flat curl, which again will come up later on this DVD. But he's easing back, he's reading that quarterback, and just does a nice job breaking on the football, and kind of overran it, and certainly wish he had caught it. Empty, no back set, linebackers easing back, and then breaking up as they read the quarterback's intent to drop it off on a check down. Again, very similar to the flip the hips drill where they're easing back and then breaking up. Reading the receiver in the area and the intent of the quarterback. 43, easing back, breaking on the throw. Seeing the ball thrown is critically important. Getting your eyes back to the quarterback as soon as you read the intent of the route. Nice job into the boundary with the boundary backer, going flat and taking away the 3-step. Now play action. I'm reading run first, and the linebacker should play run, 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 run. As they read it's a play action, now they don't have the luxury of easing back. Now they need to turn, drive for depth, locate the receiver in the deepest part of their zone, and break on the football. The boundary backer is like a strong safety. He should not be reacting up quickly on the run either way. He should sit. All of a sudden, excuse all these phones ringing here. Play action, run, 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 turn, find the receiver in the deepest part of your zone and defend him. And they really should be 2 to 3 yards inside, 2 to 3 yards underneath, so as to not overrun the ball. These are some illustrations on play action pass, play and run. You can see 43 bid up, and then he located the deepest receiver in his area and did a pretty good job of driving for depth and getting his hand on the football. Very similar to the drill. He opened, he read the route, did a nice job getting depth and working for depth. Now here, number 45 is definitely sucked up, and they're trying to hit that void right behind him with the tight end. And he does a nice job. He sucked up on the run, turning and driving, and in doing so, the football hit him in the helmet, thus defending the play. Now, defending the bootleg, really have done this one of two ways. One where the backside linebacker turns into the contained player and the front side linebacker on the side of the crosser picks up the crosser and runs with it. You'd like the boundary backer, if the boot is into the boundary, to kind of high-low the outcut from the number one receiver and the linebacker or the receiver running to the flat. Now, this pass group didn't pick up that whole concept so much as the backside guy comes around and contain, the front side guy runs with the crosser. So I just said, hey, the middle backer is always secondary contain, and then the other linebacker always has the crosser. Now, when the crosser is on the side of the play fake, it's challenging for that linebacker to do it. However, he should get help from the secondary hollering out pass when they see receivers release from the line of scrimmage, and that certainly adds or helps him in terms of playing that crosser. But I didn't feel like I could leave it up to their judgment to read their way through it, because then neither did either. So I just predetermined one guy always had contain, one guy always had the crosser. Now the hook route's probably the most common route thrown in football, and so years ago we used to work on collisioning that tight end, and what I found was I lost most of those battles. That big strong tight end would drive into my leverage and push off and gain separation, and if he was any good at all, that was a pretty constant throw and catch by the offense. A former NFL tight end who played a number of years, Mickey Schuler, grabbed me one time and talked about the concept which he thought was most challenging that working against him by NFL linebackers was for the linebacker just to ease underneath the leverage of the tight end, not colliding with him, maintaining inside-out position. And in doing so, it was really challenging for that tight end to know whether to break in or out, to know the leverage of the linebacker. And that linebacker or that tight end constantly worked on driving in and pushing off. He wanted contact by that linebacker. And so for the last several years, that is a technique that I've worked there, and you can see 31. Now, I'd like him not to back up initially, that he should sit and absorb that hook threat and then break on it. And that allows me not to give up separation from the tight end. That was a game illustration, and here we come back into the practice illustrations. You can see number 11 there, walling out, feeling the tight end. I want to feel him. I want to put my outside leg in the crotch of the receiver. And there again, 43, staying inside and underneath the tight end. Here you should see some more illustrations of that. I think the first one, we're defending the hook route of the number 2 receiver into the boundary. Now with a wide receiver, or a skinny butt as I refer to him, you can be a little more physical with him. But I think, as with most guys, my guys, because I work the technique of easing underneath, they pretty much adapt to that. Then you have to be careful. If you're overly aggressive, that wide receiver can get inside you as well. Nice job by the linebacker. Another one I wish we had caught, but a nice job by 43, easing, putting the outside leg in the crotch of the tight end. And he wanted to collision him, and I'm glad he didn't, because that allowed him to break under the ball and not get pushed, and allowing that tight end to get separation. Now this number 3 receiver here is a tight end for Notre Dame, and again, I wish we hadn't backed up, but at the same time, because we didn't collision the tight end and he couldn't push off, the linebacker was able to break underneath and break up the pass. Watching 40 working against, no, I'm sorry, it was 45. Flat curl combination, probably the most frequent route combination used in football. And as I go back through each year and look at the cut-ups, I find that this ordinary route combination is effective against us, unless I really work the heck out of it to take it away. When number 2 goes flat, which is going to happen fairly rapidly, in order to pull the flat defender out of that curl window, that linebacker now has to recognize that he has to hustle to get to the curl. Now, he doesn't want to go right on top of the curl. As you can see, that wide receiver would work inside of him. And there would be a window open if I went right on side. So again, I want to go 2 to 3 yards inside of the curl route, 2 to 3 yards underneath. If I were to go right on top of that wide receiver, he'll move inside of me and get into that open window, or he'll come back to the ball in front of me. So 2 to 3 yards inside, 2 to 3 yards underneath. And you can see 34 almost overran that wide receiver. As I do this drill occasionally, I tell that tight end, continue to run a hook, because I'm reading 2 to 1. 2 goes flat, I work to 1. You can see that linebacker there was a good 4 yards inside of the wide receiver, and yet easily could break to that window to the curl. Same thing right there, illustrating how far I can go once I see that ball and break on it. And very careful not to go right on top of that wide receiver, which would cause me to overrun him. Almost overran him there. You could see 15, I think, was in real danger if that wide receiver kept moving inside to go right on by him, right on by the wide receiver as the wide receiver got inside. And here again, you got to occasionally have that hook receiver run that hook to keep the linebacker honest and reading 2 to 1 in his route read progression. Looking into the boundary, flat curl combination. I believe we saw this earlier on 40 breaking on the ball. I do think 40 sees the running back go flat, maybe not, but he does get into that curl window. This is a flat curl combination into the boundary where number 40 is the flat defender. Little play action, he's expanding, but he realizes that there's a curl behind him, and he baited the quarterback into throwing the curl and came back inside and stole the curl. 31 needed to get wider after the play action fake and get out and defend that curl. You can clearly see that number 2 went flat, and he got caught up in the play action. Fortunately, 40 made a great play. This is a drill, look search, that I use frequently during the season. The linebacker who in this drill here indoors you're going to see doesn't always line up on the line. He should line up right on the line of scrimmage. And then as the quarterback drops back, he should ease back. He should blink and take a look at the receiver and get his head back. No deeper than 4 to 5 yards should he get without really getting back and seeing the quarterback. It's a drill designed to blink, to look and search and blink and read the intent of the route, read the intent of the receiver, and then get his head back to the quarterback so he can break on the ball. I want him to go to that receiver and defend the route. And it's a good drill, I think, in creating awareness quickly without having my head turned forever and losing sight on the football and the ability to break on the ball, where I want to blink the intent of the route but get my eyes back to the quarterback and make a play on the football. I have found since doing this drill the last 3 to 4 years that there are a lot of these illustrations in games where doing this over and over and over again through a course of time, that the linebackers get better at blinking and seeing what's out behind them, but not losing their focus on the quarterback and their ability to break on the football. Nice job by 43, realizing the receiver gets in behind him, reads the intent of the quarterback's shoulders. He's look search, you see him blink, and then you see that receiver break behind him, and he's able to break on the ball and get a hand on the football. Here you're going to watch number 40. And he opens, he blinks the receiver. He sees the receiver breaking inside of him, breaks with him, just like the drill we just saw, and runs with him and intercepts the football. Right there, he took a blink, flipped his shoulders, and ran with the receiver, and fortunately the quarterback threw it to him. I think we saw this clip earlier, but it applied to both situations. There is a lot of carryover in the drills and the types of routes and the techniques you used, whether it's just a drop back, get your head back, read the quarterback's shoulders, or blink the receiver, see the intent, ease back, break on the ball. Crossing routes. Usually you're getting, well, there's a couple different scenarios here. Here we're working a high-low combination that we see quite a bit of in today's football, where the number 2 receiver runs a dig and the number 1 receiver runs a shallow crossing route. I want to stay high with the initial linebacker and play the dig. I'm going to run that one back. and stay with that dig route. And then the backside linebacker, we should get great communication under, and the backside linebacker is going to come up and play the crossing route. If I try to do it the opposite way, oftentimes that crossing route will go right on by that first linebacker. You're going to see game illustrations of both. The next drill I'm going to do is you're going to see where if it's a 2x2 set, the two crossing routes are crossing, and then you're going to see that there's a player in a white jersey right behind the linebacker looking at it from the offense on the right, and then there's a manager or a coach standing on the hash to the left, where the linebackers want to ease back. They want to defend the dig routes, again, 3 to 4 yards inside, 3 to 4 yards underneath. And yet they want to read the quarterback there. He's defending the dig and be ready to break up on the crossing route. So I defend the dig. I don't jump the crossing route because then that dig gets thrown in behind me. But if it is thrown shallow, I've got to explode and break on it and hold it to a minimum gain. Easing back, breaking on it, fitting. 42 fits outside in, 43 inside out. Defense is knowing where your help is. Easing back, defend the dig, break up on the shallow route. Hold it to a very minimum gain. Then I add in the check down. Number 34 is the running back who leaks out of the backfield, and I've got to see that as well. So I'm defending the dig, I'm getting ready to break on a crossing route, and then I also have to be aware of the quarterback dropping the ball off to the running back in a check down. I find that when our offense, even in zone coverage, starts throwing crossing routes, my guys have a tendency to jump it, and then they give up the dig route in behind them. So this is a drill that I do early and I do frequently, just to reinforce the concept, defend the deepest part of my zone first, break up on either the crossing or the check down. Now here's some more of the high-low. You can see the first linebacker, 42, staying under the initial dig, and the backside linebacker breaking up on the crossing route. Here you're going to see some great illustrations, and I want you to run these back and look at where the ball snapped and how little real estate is gained. That's a 3-yard gain. Then watch the depth. 31 gets to 8, 9, 10 yards depth as he's showing blitz, because he's seeing the ball thrown and breaking up on it, holding that to a very minimum gain. You're going to watch 40 into the boundary, easing back, staying underneath that deeper route and breaking up on the shallow route, forcing the quarterback to throw underneath. And then if we've got our feet settled and we're breaking on the ball, we're going to hold that to a very minimum gain and discourage that receiver from wanting that pass again. Easing back, a 1-yard gain, and I think if you run it back, you'll see 45 got himself, let's see here, he's at 9 yards. Sees the ball thrown, 40 took away that deeper crosser, and we're breaking up and holding it to a very minimum gain. The essence of zone coverage, breaking on the football. Here, both linebackers, you see the boundary backer did a great job of easing underneath that vertical route by 89, the tight end, feeling that the quarterback was running out of time, seeing the check down release, and breaking up on it. Now, we're a 3-deep team. We play a lot of 2-deep, but we play a lot of 3-deep, and so we get quite a bit of 4 vertical out of a 2x2 and a 3x1 formation sets. And the way we defend that, you can see the boundary defender still takes away the 3-step, but then the inside backer is going to run with the vertical. And the first thing the free safety says in a 2x2 set is verti alert, because we have to be very conscious, and that allows that middle third safety to midpoint the number 2 receiver to the boundary and to the field and break on the football. So we're going to carry him both with the boundary backer and then our strong safety to the field. Now, when I read that as a linebacker, I'm going to ease out. I don't have to run out of there. I'm easing out to defend the hook. When I see the intent of that receiver, you can see 48's doing it here. Right now I got a verti alert. I'm going to ease out. I'm going to play the hook, and then as soon as I see his intent, I want to flip my hips and man turn. If I zone turn, I get separation by that tight end. I man turn, I flip my hips, get my head back as quickly as possible so I can see the ball thrown and make a play on the football. Good illustration by that linebacker right there, number 40, I believe. As you can see, our offense challenges us with the 4 vertical routes quite often. Get your head back as soon as you can, 40, so you can